Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Grab a cold one, crank up the volume, and join the show. Welcome to NBNR Live. And here we go.
It's no block, no rock.
Go Big Red indeed. No block, no rock. Episode 214.
Hey, we did the math. No more season this, season that. It's episode 214.
Mike scrolled through all the episodes.
No, we did not. That was our good friend Brandon. He did go find us an exported list of the number of episodes we've done.
Thanks, Teeds.
Shout out to Brandon Tiedemann.
Okay, real quick. Let's talk about our main sponsor. I got my water. Wow, nobody's booing me.
Yeah.
I was in my heart, but just like not out loud.
If I was drinking, though, I think I would have myself. I see Mike with the, I know I'm kind of spoiling it. Hefeweizen. I see a Pilsner.
I mean, you're wearing bright green like a pickle. Like
Pickle. I'm a pickle, a big pickle. I'm a big red pickle. That's what I am.
Yeah. I wanted to address the sweatshirt. Did you like just get off a construction site or what's going on?
I was laying pipe.
No, you
That's
weren't.
what I do, baby.
No, that was Wisconsin on Nebraska yesterday.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wee. Hefeweizen. That's my pick. Mike, is that your pick as well?
Well, that is my pick. That's what I'm drinking. EOS Hefeweizen, best beer at Nebraska Brewing Company. It's the definition of world class in every glass. What do you got, Connor?
Okay, so I am drinking Pilsner, but I have sad news mostly for me and for anybody that, is betting me to drink Pilsner every week is Pilsner cans may be going away soon.
Again?
Yeah. This time, not necessarily for good, but for a while. So
Are you okay?
no. Wait, are you talking about the beer or just like as a whole?
I mean,
because
geez, how
both answers are no.
Well, you'll get it on tap at the brewery, right?
Yeah, you still can get it
Okay.
on tap. You might still find it at draft locations around the area. But if you want to have a Pilsner with me while you watch these episodes, go out and buy your cans now. It's a dying breed because apparently there's only like one guy that drinks it.
Weird.
Kyle Byers, what do you got?
I am drinking the EOS Hefeweizen, same as Mike. It's the go-to every time it's in the fridge. That's the number one. It's number one beer in my heart.
Yeah.
That's what I go for.
I also during the intro, I already told you guys, but I owe you guys an apology and the listeners an apology. I told you guys on the 13th was our last episode. If it's been 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it's been a year. I told you that this episode I would be bringing that coffee stout in,
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
and I failed to do so. So I apologize to you guys, but more so to the listeners because I know Mike might actually have to change his pants once he tries it.
Boo this man.
Connor,
Boo him.
Connor, you blew it.
I did blow it.
Next week.
Next week.
Next fucking week.
With
Bring it.
BA. We got BA next week. I think we're going to make a little.
Already, BA?
Yeah, we're going to have a field trip at the brewery before we come in here. So hopefully it'll be a really fun episode.
I'm
Maybe
sure.
a little too fun.
I'm sure we'll be. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how much football talk will happen.
I can't wait
Oh,
for
plenty.
BA to like I know BA drinks beer. We've seen him do it. He's hung out with us a couple of times. But I want to see him, like, especially if we have the brewery field trip before and then the beers during the episode. I want to see how he does.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He is here to like help coach and do some things. So
BA
we'll see.
unleashed.
We'll see. But
You
yeah,
know, we've been complimented by a super famous dude named DB, Damon
Yeah.
Benning,
Oh,
on
yeah.
our beer drinking abilities while we do this podcast.
that is
don't-
true.
Can you say compliment? His exact word was he was mortified
Yeah.
at our efficiency.
Yeah.
I call it a compliment. I do.
Hey, you know what?
I'd take it as a compliment for sure.
When we get nice words said about us on the radio, I can't complain.
No.
But guys, Nebraska Brewing Company.
No, I'm not the first
Well,
one.
I figured-
World class.
In every glass.
There you go. And this is your last bit of housekeeping. This is the last week. We're going to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. If you use the promo code NBNR, bet on that Super Bowl. You could win up to $1,000 in bonus bets and help support the pod without even doing anything. Maybe you're making money. I did not, but that is what you could do. I am just not good at gambling and making money. I'm not a lucky person. So
Do you still have
34 cents?
I was
34
gonna say
cents.
Trev Alberts.
Let me put it
cents.
this way. So BA donated to our show, right? And he's like, hey, you put this in Mike's account so he can bet on this stuff. We have to hit like a certain threshold on YouTube before we can even take the money out. So no, I still have the 32 cents or whatever it's in there. That's what I've got. But I know that other people around me have made money. Kyle made some money. My buddy Trevor made money right off the bat. Like, people are making money. All you have to do is use the promo code NBNR, sign up for Underdog Fantasy, support the pod, make some money. That's what I got.
That's all we need, baby.
That's all we need.
That's all you got. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess like the last little bit here, just kind of like in the intro, the boys, we've been a little on and off the last month with the holidays, and then Mike was in Mexico, and then also the same like night that we would record is the national championship. So like, of course, nobody's tuning into NBNR while the national championship is going on. So like,
surprised.
we took the night off, right? But recent events here for at least us this past weekend, we got to go check out Tony Trainer and the Trainer Band.
That was fun.
That was at the waiting room. Myself and B Teeds, we got to go do photo and video for them. So we're hanging out in the green room and like getting to chill with the band for the night. And it was a blast. Like, salt of the earth people. Everybody was really cool. So that's kind of like what I've been up to. What do you guys been up to?
I mean, I was in Mexico. I had a bunch of flight troubles. Got in, 11 hours later than I was supposed to the first day. So I lost an entire day of vacation. And then they damaged my bags. I got brand new bags out of the deal, though. So the only pro that I have, and nice thing to say about Delta Airlines, is that they gave me new bags for putting holes in my bag. My hard shelled bag. Yeah, they put holes in them.
Impressive.
So other than that, yeah, the travel there and the travel home both sucked. We had a lot of delays. We missed a lot of things and wasted a lot of time. Other than that, Mexico was fun. Resort was great. Drinks were flowing. Food was good. Had a good time.
Nice.
I would say I have spent the last 2 weeks being sad watching Nebraska basketball.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that.
I would
something.
imagine most of us were. But I did. And I know this is a sport that I don't know that we've ever discussed on NBNR before.
Wrestling.
No.
We did that.
Nebraska Rifle did beat Army yet again. That felt good. Kyle, suck it. But yeah,
I'm a big fan of the Army Rifle team.
Yeah,
Big fan.
He's got so much merch. You walk into his house and it's all just Army Rifle
Posters and
autographed.
Yep.
Might need to recruit some of our people to go be in the Army, apparently.
Yeah.
What are they doing over there?
Jared, what were you up to?
Let's see. I was sitting in a dark room alone.
That's why you put on that bright shirt so you could find yourself.
Bring a little light in your life.
Rocking back and forth, just staring at a blank wall, just waiting for us to record an episode. That's all I do. I go to work, then I go home, and I just do this for hours.
I have to.
It's a little disturbing.
Over the last 2 weeks, our Twitter's been very active. For those that don't know, our Twitter guys here are Mike and Jared. I really want to think that it was all Jared. Mike, please tell me you were not tweeting while you were on vacation.
I mean, I was. But
Dude,
you were tweeting from the podcast while you were on vacation with your wife.
I don't take days off.
That's right.
I watched Nebraska lose while I was in Mexico. I had them somehow bootleg Big Ten Network at our resort. I was sitting at a bar by myself, drinking espresso martinis, watching Nebraska lose.
Wait, where was you?
Drink
You
away
were
the
sitting
pain.
at a bar by yourself. Where was your wife?
Next to me. But she
you were not by yourself.
There was nobody around us, and she left me partly through the game, so because I was yelling and people were staring.
That checks out so hard.
Just imagine being on vacation with your significant other, and like you don't want to be around them at all.
Let's go to
We
dinner.
were with each
No,
other
sweetie.
a lot.
No,
but
sweetie. Huskers are playing.
She's like, I'm gonna go do other things. I'm gonna go upstairs, go do some stuff. I'll come down and find you in a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I am the loud guy in the bar, just standing there yelling at the screen. Get a rebound! What are you doing? No,
Close out!
Juwan, do not shoot a three.
Oh,
Stop
shit.
shooting.
No. Oh, damn it.
He did it again. Oh, he drove. Good. Oh, yes. Good.
You're right.
Mike is
That was me. Yes, that was
Mike
me tweeting
is-
about Juwan. But me and Jared were kind of doing both of it. So I
at a resort in Puerto Vallarta screaming about Husker basketball. I don't know if I can just like preemptively give the award for 2025, but you are the ultimate fucking sicko.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like that is a sicko
You're a
move.
sick
I
bastard.
watched the first loss in the airport. I sat there and watched it on the iPad in the airport on their crappy Wi-Fi because I was stuck, in the airport for long periods of time. So yeah, I watched Nebraska lose 2 times while I was in Mexico.
So you basically had to watch Juwan Gary like shoot a three for like 3 minutes because it would pause at about here.
No,
and then
no.
it would continue 3 minutes later of him missing.
Quality was fine for that game. The one that I guess he did shoot in both games.
Yeah.
Watching a Nebraska basketball game at an airport on your phone.
No, it wasn't on my phone though. It was on the iPad. So
Jeez, I don't know what to
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
it so much better, Mike.
then
a
I
big
also-
phone.
I also tried to explain the guy that didn't really speak very much English that this is a game I won on. And he's like, basketball? And, yeah.
Baloncesto.
And then he's turning on the NBA again. I was like, no.
No, not that baloncesto.
No, Nebraska.
It wasn't the fact that he didn't know what you were saying as far as putting a basketball game on. He just couldn't believe you wanted to watch Nebraska.
Yeah,
That was the big deal.
that was
He's
the
like,
first time he
"Are
was
you sure?"
requested.
Well, look, let's
get
we're-
it. Yeah.
We've already
Elephants
been
in the room.
ragging on a little bit. 83 to whoever gives a fuck about the score. I was not surprised.
No.
We were 4 minutes into the game, and I texted you guys and said it's over. Like
Nin-
that's the game.
You fall behind 19 to 2. Change the starting lineup a little bit. And I think that was something that, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that I was in favor of.
Yeah.
Try something new. But you get off to arguably the worst start of the season, 19 to 2. You battle back.
Yep.
Okay, but here's what happens after you battle back from 19 to 2. It taxes you mentally, spiritually, and God, dude, are they going to make the Big Ten tournament?
No, I don't think so.
That's where we're at. We're
If
not-
they continue to play the way they have, their 3-point defense is the worst I've ever seen of any level of basketball. I mean, we are giving up threes at historical rates.
Yeah.
And yesterday was another example. We gave up 17 3-pointers. If you get your calculator out, that's like 51 points.
What's 17 times 3? It's probably that.
It is.
Yeah. 51 points
Yeah.
on the 3 ball.
You could see it late in the last season that the 3-point defense just wasn't getting it done. Obviously, like we were all there to watch the Texas A&M game in Memphis, where they just got absolutely shellacked from that arc, and it doesn't seem like it's recovered really at all. And I don't want to shock anybody. Pretty big deal guarding the arc. Pretty big deal.
Yeah, those points are worth more than the 2. Do you guys know that?
Yeah.
When they shoot behind the arc thing, that little arc thing?
I
Do
don't.
the Nebraska defenders know where the arc thing is
Well, they don't know how to shoot from it, so probably not.
or defend from it? Kyle?
What
I thought
is-
you were itching to, yeah.
What is this arc?
What's these?
Yeah.
What is this?
What type of dog is this?
Well, dude. All right. So for the past couple years, we have been singing Fred's praises, Nate Lenzer's praises. He's kind of the defensive guy,
Mhm.
right? It sure looks like teams have solved it. Now, here's the thing. Nebraska, in order for their defense to be effective, they need the other team to just miss shots.
Right.
I know that sounds very simple. Yeah. Yes. Just miss shots, opponent.
But when they're high percentage shots, they're not going to miss as many as you want them to, unless they're Creighton
Yeah.
or Iowa in the first half.
But it seems like lately, like in order for this defense to be good, you need to have a lot of energy. And I think that's why road games have been especially tough because look, traveling and you're in an unfamiliar, your routine's a little bit off. You're probably not as energetic as you would be for a home game. So when you play this kind of defense, your energy needs to be up because if it's not up, hello, guys, not even within 3 feet of people sometimes.
Yep.
Your closeouts are weak and
Bad.
slow and soft. That's the thing, dude. I watch this Nebraska defense, and lately it just seems I throw around the word soft a lot, but it's just opponents are just so they're comfortable.
Yeah.
They're not being challenged.
Yeah.
And so it's like a walk in the park for these motherfuckers.
I was watching, I think it was last week. I forget what game it was, but Nick Baugh was on the call. And at one point in the game, he said, all they have to do is they just have to throw it to the weak side. To throw it to the weak side.
He called it out.
He called it. And then the whole second half, whoever it was that we were playing, they were just
Maryland. No, or USC.
I don't know. But,
Yeah.
but whoever it was, they were just tossing it over to the weak side and then just draining threes.
Yeah.
And Nick Baugh was like, see, I told you. And that's been the story of Nebrasketball this year.
My question is, like, we talked about this just before the show started. 12-2, fantastic start. What happened? Like, it's not different guys.
I hate to say it.
It's the Iowa game. It's literally that game is beating you over and over again.
Herky
Broke them.
Herky broke us.
Yep.
Yeah, and like, is it now a self-fulfilling prophecy where, like, after that Iowa loss, it was like, we played bad. We're kind of down on ourselves. And every loss feels like it's just compounding. It doesn't feel like we're competitive.
What other men's sport does this remind you of?
There's demons in the water at University of Nebraska. Going back to that.
Demons in the water.
There is.
They're going to drag you down.
There is. I'm just saying, like, Kyle, you're talking about Nick Baugh's call and how it's obvious. If Nick Baugh, who did play college basketball and is a very knowledgeable guy, if he can call this out, don't you think that the coaches that are living it and breathing in it every day can see that too? And it comes down to, I think they missed in the transfer portal a lot, and I don't think we have the athletes to play man-to-man as much. So I think with the switches and getting that last guy over to three-point shooter, like, we just don't have the athletes in the speed to get there. And we don't have a Keisei Tominaga to bail us out, where he's just making chicken salad out of chicken shit. Like, I mean, that's really the difference between last year and this year. We also had an extra 2 or 3 shooters. We had Jamarcus Lawrence. We had CJ Wilcher. We had a couple extra guys. The only people on this team that can shoot the basketball beyond the arc is Bryce Williams and Connor Season. That's it.
And so you talk about we don't have a Keisei. I mean, again, we had just talked about it. Connor Season can shoot, but where has he been?
He needs to shoot at least 15 times a game.
He has to.
Because if not him, it's going to be Juwan.
And Juwan they're begging him to shoot threes now.
But so here's my issue with the Season is defensively liability. Absolute liability defensively.
I think
that goes back to athleticism, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and Juwan, he's got the athleticism, but he can't shoot. Like, can they morph into one player? Because that'd be cool, right?
Yeah. I'm going to ask you guys, just on the count of 3, who is Nebraska's best player? 1, 2, 3.
Bryce Williams.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where when he's playing, I'm doing this. I'm like, ooh, what's going on with him?
Yes.
I hope it's an injury. I hope.
I understand.
Because if it's not an injury, it's
mental. I think it's all mental with him.
Like, I'm not saying I hope he's injured. I'm just saying, given the way that he looks, not being like forceful, he's giving the ball up
a lot, 3 to 4 times a game. The dude, single-handedly turns the ball over at the worst times, and it's 3 to 4 times a game.
You know, and it's
always been like that, though.
Yeah,
like, even when he was playing good, it was 3 turnovers a game.
Yeah,
but it didn't matter because he made up for it with this play.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like a catch-22.
Right.
You want the ball in his hands. If he doesn't touch the ball on a possession, more than likely it's a failed possession.
Yes.
Now, with him touching the ball so much, theoretically, there are going to be 4 or 5 turnovers that happen. But, like, if Bryce isn't scoring, if Bryce isn't himself, if Juwan isn't going to drive to the basket, or, like, sometimes when he does, he just throws it off the glass.
That, like, off the side of the backboard a couple times. Like, what are we doing?
I think to your point is, like, you need Bryce Williams to succeed to allow the other guys to succeed. You need to have a healthy defensive attention on Bryce Williams to give these other guys their opportunities to do what they can do. And so, yeah, when he's not doing that, it's much easier to shut down a Nebraska offense.
Another espresso martini every time I watch them.
Shit.
Give me another one.
Another
please.
round, baby.
Come on, senorita.
Come on.
Let's go.
Like, damn it. What was I going to say? I forgot.
I have a question. We've brought this up in years past about roster turnover and starting fresh every single year and not having a foundation. You've still got Sam Hoiberg, you've still got Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary. But outside of those three, and Sam Hoiberg was not a starter last year, shouldn't be a starter this year.
Nope.
Out of those two, Juwan Gary and Bryce Williams,
right,
you have started all over again. And so I think I am comfortable in saying, like, I think I was right. Fred Hoiberg continues to get this roster turnover every single year. He's got to go out and he's got to go find guys from out of the country, and he's got to come. He's got to try to figure out what piece works with this piece. And then it gets him in the building, and it's like, okay, let's start from scratch. Like, at what point do we just say, hey, we need to get a foundation here?
Yeah.
And the dude is years and years into his tenure, and he still doesn't have a foundation. And that's why you get this, like, oh, hey, we made the tournament. Oh, hey, we might not make the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
Like, when at some point it's the chickens are going to come home to roost? Like, when does that happen?
Yeah, it's just tough in the NIL era, though. Like, I mean, every sport now, not just basketball. And basketball was always like the one and done type sport anyways. But now it's pay to play. It's 1 year rental players. And I mean, I would say maybe that's an advantage too, is that he is used to turning the roster over like that. But it comes into that pay to play format, and it's going to keep happening. He just missed totally on his transfers. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, Mia he has zero offensive game.
Yeah.
Okay defender.
Okay. Should be much better than you.
Is not a great rebounder for being 7'2". Like,
inexcusable.
Like, the amount of offensive boards he's giving up is just insane.
Yeah.
Andrew Morgan, I think he hit okay with Andrew Morgan as a good role bench player. Great. But as your starter, we saw what happened, 19-2 run or whatever that was. Like, he's not a starter. Sam Hoiberg should not be starting. Like, there's just, like, he missed. Like, the kid from Rutgers, like, he's riding the freaking pine now. Like,
so Gavin Griffiths was one of those players where
three-point specialist.
Look, you're going through this skid, and before Sunday's game, I'm like, what? Why not just try to play him more? See what happens. Whoops. Did not look good. Like, oh my God. Missed on all the transfers. And this goes to your point, Kyle, the constant turnover. This year just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So like, that's the thing, is people are like calling for Fred's head or whatever. It's like, all Fred needs to really say is, I got a bad batch this year.
Yep.
We'll just try it again next year and hope to go on a run. Like, and look, at a place like Nebraska, where there's absolutely no standard here. There's no standard at Nebraska. No past to lean on like you could with football. So what are the expectations? What do we want? And so when you have a season like this, it's like, well, but yeah, they kind of suck now, but last year they actually made the tournament, which is like heaven to us. So yeah, just got a bad batch this year. We'll just try it again next year.
So I think coming off of last year, the expectation, and I think it's a very reasonable one, is make the Big Ten tournament. That's an insanely reasonable expectation.
I think 15 of the 18 teams make it. So
yeah. So the other thing, and I had a very lengthy discussion about this, and I'll boil it down as best I can. There's in modern college basketball, there's three types of teams. And the one I think Kyle is advocating for is building a 4-year team. Guys that are going to be here for 4 years, at least 3. The other one of them is something that I don't think Nebraska will ever achieve, because it's just not something we can do, is being a one and done program. That's not something Nebraska is ever going to do. The other is, Mike, you talk about 1-year rentals. And when we look at a lot of this roster being what we would consider 1-year rentals, I think it is incredibly difficult to build any sort of cohesion on 1-year rentals if they're not freshmen. Like when you look at the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the Kansases, this Kansas team is, not that right now.
Traditional
But,
Kansas.
yeah. When you look at those, when you bring them in as freshmen and it's their first time playing at a D1 level, it's a lot easier to build cohesion because they all have that kind of shared experience. When you bring in the guys that have played all across the country and you have that 1-year rental, they all have their own personalities and they have very limited time to adjust who they were at the previous university and to what the system is at the current one. And it's just not successful. There's very few programs that we see succeed inside.
And Nebraska
that
did
system.
last year. Like they hit
did
on
last
Rank
year.
Mass. They hit on Casey. They hit on Bryce. They
Yeah.
hit on CJ. Like everybody that was good last year, they were transfers.
Yes, but that's very rare
Yeah.
to see. So I think, like Kyle said, if Nebraska wants to succeed and actually create a name for itself and maybe finally get that coveted tournament win, you're going to have to turn towards being a 3-year or a 4-year team. That's the only way you're going to get it done.
I'm just always on the developmental side of things. I'll always be that way. I'll never be on the Kurt Signetti prime
Turn and burn.
Yeah, turn and burn. Just pray for the best. Hope you get a good batch, like you said, Jared. I'll always be on the developmental program side. And from day one, every year that we talk about Nebrasketball, I'm like, there's no foundation. It's just these guys are going to be out. New guys are going to come in. Those guys are going to be out. These new guys are going to come in. And it's not just like one role player or like one person on the team that's like, okay, yep, they're moving on. We're just going to replace him. No, it's 5 people every year.
We need you to start.
Yeah.
That's why you're coming here.
Yeah.
And what especially hurts the most. What hurts the most? Omaha, Nebraska has gone through in this past decade a renaissance in high school basketball.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Like if you are going to ever be a developmental program where you bring in freshmen and keep them for 3 or 4 years,
A Ryan Kalkbrenner.
this was the time to do it.
Well, it's not from lack of trying. They didn't miss. They recruited the shit out of those guys, but they had better opportunities because Nebraska is a basement basketball program. Like that's what I always tell like my Creighton friends. I'm like, oh, well, why did he go recruit that guy from Miller North? They did. They said no. Like it's so hard to become a good program if you've never been a good program.
Yeah.
And I think Fred runs into that all the time. Is that we have no tradition. We finally had something to build off of last year. We made a tournament, but we have nothing to be like, oh, this is what you could be at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because they have no examples of you being great. What, you were Teron Liu? You're better coach than you were a player.
Tehran.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, and you have an in-state rival that is perennially near the top of the pack.
Right.
Maybe not this year, but like perennially. I mean, last year was Elite 8.
Right.
Like
it's so hard
it's
to
a pro. How are you going to recruit the top recruits in the state when you've got Creighton staring you down the fucking throat? You
Right.
can't. If they're gonna stay in state, they're going to Creighton.
And they lost to Nebraska, which is great.
That is funny.
Shout out to
That is
Nebraska
funny.
finally.
You know, because like I said, Omaha had a renaissance. It hurts to see Tanji doing what he's doing,
Right.
and Chucky and Hunter Salas.
That kid from USC,
Yeah, Saint Thomas.
St. Thomas, he came in and had his way. Like
It just hurts.
it's just annoying.
Yeah, it's
You-
annoying.
You need a defining season. And when we were at 12-2, I genuinely, in my heart of hearts, thought maybe this is it.
Yep.
Maybe this could be the season, and it's not. I think we're debating whether we make the Big Ten tournament right now,
Well,
Yeah.
let alone the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's my and that's my thing too. You talked about expectations coming out of last year and going to Memphis and making the tournament. And it's like, okay, that was okay, good. We made the tournament, awesome. Let's just keep it steady. Let's just
Lowest bar.
just
Give me
like
a 16 seed for
just
God's
keep
sake.
it steady. I'm not really even asking. Just like, oh, you made it last year, you better make it next year, and you better win a game, and you better progress. Like, no, you made it to a level, right? Let's just like keep it around there. Like, I don't need any sort of superstar, some crazy season after that. I just want you to keep it steady. And instead, we just took a nosedive. Like, it's crazy to me.
Still be repaired. It's just probably not going to happen. Like, I don't see very many wins left on the schedule.
The loss of ranked mass was huge, dude.
Yeah.
It cannot be overstated.
Which I thought it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
I seriously thought getting a guy like Bear K in would be fine. Like, he can play that same position. He should be able to shoot. It'll be fine. No, Rank was.
He could space the floor out. He could shoot threes.
Yes.
Like there'd be like every other game, it seemed like, holy crap, Rank Mass just made 4 threes. And
Not only that, but then the dude's covered in claw marks.
right.
The dude is literally
Yeah.
scratched from
Right.
head to toe because he's just getting in there and battling.
His
I think
shoulders are
he's
just
undersized and
like he got in a cat fight.
yeah.
So I think Casey last season was probably the most entertaining player. I don't think that's a hot take. But this might be a hot take. I think Rank Mast was the most exciting because there were certain things that he was doing that like I just wasn't expecting him to be able to do. And I think that made him a very exciting player to watch. He wasn't as sexy as Casey throwing up a deep 3 and just like, dancing down the sideline, but the Huskers just don't have that right now.
Yeah.
They don't.
Instead of exciting, maybe another E word I would use for him is like efficient.
Yeah. Efficient.
Yeah.
is the
Efficient.
word.
Well, and so
Yeah.
efficiency got me excited.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, we're
Swing.
winning games.
Swing. You know what else they're missing too? They're missing a big who can pass
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
distribute the ball. Like Derek Walker was excellent at that.
Yes, he was.
Like, God dang it. What does Maya do for you?
Nothing. Really. He takes up space, gets an occasional rebound, and can play defense until he gets in foul trouble.
He's 7 foot tall.
Can't
And
shoot free
look,
throws.
worthless is
I
might
wouldn't
be
go-
a strong word, but
It's
it's
a
hard.
strong word.
go
We're
as far-
damn near, dude. He's not even playing whole games, let alone second halves anymore.
Yeah.
What?
I wouldn't go as far as worthless, but I would use the word questionable.
Yeah. I think it
What
just goes down to
exactly do you
effort,
say you do
though.
here?
It's
Okay, go on.
effort. Like when you talk about Rank Mass, right? Undersized, playing in a physical Big Ten, inside game, could stretch the floor out. Dude covered in claw marks. And then you look at Braxton, who's always on his back. Mia is always laying on the ground.
Why are you on the
I'm like,
ground again?
why are you on the ground again? You're 7'2". You've got a huge frame. What are you doing?
He's like Bambi out
He's
there.
very clumsy, not as coordinated. So yeah, and what pains me more is the fact that Rank is still on this team, and you see him on the sideline, and we can't have him play.
Him and Josiah.
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, and Josiah, like that's another guy that just gritty, like put it all out there, and we just don't have that. We have
Right.
Sam. Sam Hoiberger is probably the grittiest guy we have on the team, and that's it.
Sam Hoiberg cannot be the grittiest player on your team.
That's a problem.
Sorry, he can't.
That's obviously not talking down on Sam Hoiberg because the guy is what's the word we've used? Pest.
Yeah, it's not his fault that
he-
he's
He is a pest. But like,
Okay.
dude,
His 3-point shooting is getting better too. And the
Yeah.
sad
Yeah.
part is we're still losing, and he's
But-
actually making threes.
if we're talking about like,
Yeah.
Sam Hoiberg is the guy that we can rely on to get gritty. That's a problem.
Yeah.
I need at least 2 or 3 other guys that I can put above him.
And I think Jawan is that guy sometimes. It's just, I think right now with the shooting problems he's going through, it's just taking away from everything else, all the other good things that he has going for him.
coming into the season. It was Bryce and Juwan. These are the guys that are experienced. They went dancing, so they have, they know what it takes.
They've seen the big stage.
Yeah. And it's really sad to watch right now. Could it change? Yes.
Maybe.
But it's hard to watch when your 2 most dependable players are going through this. And I have to imagine, we're saying that as fans. Imagine if you're actually on the team. And you're like, but you're like the 6-year guy. And what I see from you, I'm not a body language expert, but it's
Head down.
Well,
head down. And they continually talk about, is it toughness, effort? I don't know. Why are we talking about effort and toughness? Why? That's bare minimum shit.
what's most concerning is you talk about like
Jeez.
having Bryce and Juwan going through this. If this would have happened in, the first couple of weeks, I would have been willing to look away from it and not address this head on. It's crunch time. I don't know if you guys, it's January 27th right now. The next month is the only thing that matters.
Yep.
That's it.
They got to steal some. They have to.
They're going to have to.
They have to steal some, and they have to win all the games at home. They got to go steal one against like Oregon. They need to go steal some wins that they're not supposed to because they're on the road, but they have to go steal a couple wins to give them a chance to make the Big Ten tournament, win a couple games there, and maybe be a bubble team. But your chances are they're getting very, very slim.
I just like I brought up earlier that it seems like the Nate Lenzer defense has been the code has been cracked.
Yes.
And like, how do you uncrack it? Well, it's kind of, I love that they have an identity. I love that they're committed to this defense. Now, you get to the negatives of that to where it's your personnel doesn't fit what you want to do for your defense. So why don't you change that? Why don't you change what your defense is? But at the same time, if you do that, you're losing the identity. And so it's just a fucking loop, right? I want them to have the identity. I want them to be committed to this defense. But at the same time, your players aren't executing it. So then if you go away from it, the players are like, but this was what our identity is. What?
So,
you know what I mean? It's a snake eating its fucking tail.
but my question is, if your identity is losing games,
Shit.
what do you have to lose
Shit.
by switching it up? What do you have to lose? It's not working. It's not being executed, like you said.
And here's what's going to happen. They're going to beat a team that they shouldn't beat. Maybe it's Illinois. And then it's like, yeah, we always knew this was coming. Yeah, this is what it was. Yeah, we just haven't been playing as well. It's like, okay, you beat the Illinois team, but there's bigger problems here. You're dug a hole already. It's going to be tough to get out. And if you don't bring that effort that you had against Creighton, which they played on the road, by the way, but guess what? That's the rivalry game. So, you got a hard on for that game.
Not to mention half the fans are Husker fans. Actually, 99.9% of them are Husker fans. About 90% of them are also, they root for Husker basketball. So
Yeah,
Yes, Mike,
so that's my one thing that I was going to address too, is like, I don't know that you can really call playing in Omaha against Creighton a road game.
it is a road game.
Technically.
It is.
Technically.
Not a PBA. They got their ass kicked in PBA last year.
They need to bring that energy.
I think we put a bow on basketball, though.
Yeah, we've really
we beat the shit out of it.
That's fine. Okay. How about this? We're at 6:40.
Yeah.
Notre Dame lineman coming in for a visit. Please commit to us.
That'd be cool.
We'll give you money
Yeah.
and stuff. So will Michigan. And
So will all the other schools that want you. So
Yeah.
the weather's supposed to be 57 degrees. Like, it's going to be awesome for you. So love us, please.
he coming out of Notre Dame. I don't think this man is shy of
No.
the cold.
Right.
doesn't care.
I don't
God, I
think
hope
that's it. That's we said Michigan was the one to beat. Was that what I heard?
I think
It's looking that way.
like he's from Michigan. So
So
Shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
that makes things a little bit more difficult.
yeah.
Again,
He's coming to check out our training table, and then we'll never hear from him again.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
come in, get all the free perks
Well-
and free swag, get the free visit. We'll talk numbers.
Tweet
and-
about us, get a few followers.
Yep. And
So-
then he'll go and probably
what
go to Michigan.
what intrigues me a little bit about this was that originally it sounded like he was only going to take one Big Ten visit. Then suddenly his second opens up. And it's Nebraska. So that tells me that there is some interest outside of the training table.
I mean, it's his agent just telling him,
Yeah.
hey, shop
Well-
around, get the best price. Like,
Nebraska. And so if this is his agent telling him to do this, his agent's very smart.
Yeah.
Nebraska has great facilities. We all know that.
Yep.
Nebraska also very in need of some offensive linemen. Very in need.
Yeah.
So the checks will open up, and I don't think the restructuring of the, what is it, 20 million that they're gonna have assigned as financial aid that's gonna have to adhere to Title IX. You guys see all that?
goody.
I don't think that impacts this coming season.
no.
Nebraska will sign some fucking checks. We've got a quarterback sitting in the locker room with the Kansas City Chiefs last night. There are eyes on this program already. So if you come here and you protect that guy well, those eyes are not only on Rhule.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
on you as well.
The problem
So
I have with
there
that,
is
though,
there is some allure to Nebraska for an offensive lineman at the moment.
I know, but you say an offensive lineman, but like the interior guys, they're pretty much all coming back except for the center position. And like, and the guy's only played guard, and maybe he's played center, but he had 21 starts or something like that. But he's an interior lineman. Like Nebraska, the most help they need is on the outside.
Yeah.
The left tackle, right tackle, and they did get pretty much a right tackle, but they still need a left tackle, and so he doesn't really help that need, which is the blind side of Dylan Rhule.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we get him, cool. If we don't, cool. Like it doesn't really matter. It's an interior offensive lineman. Always shop and always try to get those guys, but I don't think it's going to be life changing. I hope he comes here and maybe he replaces Ben Scott and he plays center and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Or maybe they move Evans Jenkins to play center and it's great. But like, whatever. Like,
I mean, that's where I'm at.
I don't
It's
get
just-
excited about guys at all anymore. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, until they actually sign, I don't care.
Until they put on that white helmet with the red end, I don't care.
To be
Just
honest with you,
bring in as many talented players as possible. Let them compete.
yeah.
But I'll be waiting until the fucking spring game or whatever.
To be honest with you, with the transfer portal era of college football, I don't care who you are until I hear your name on Saturdays.
Yep.
I really don't.
Seriously.
Because with 29 DBs on the roster right now,
Actually,
and
it's 28.
28, sorry.
There we
With
go.
that many people, it's like I'm not even going to know who you are. Every year I have to like relearn the roster.
Yep.
And it's like I don't even waste my time trying to figure out who's interested, who's not interested. Because at the end of the day, until I hear your name on Saturday, I don't know who you are. I don't care.
Can I say why I disagree with all three of you? Is that like this guy? What Kyle? You said earlier he had what, like 1,300 snaps for Notre Dame this season?
I think it was like 1,200. Yeah.
1,200. This is a guy who was on a team, took 1,200 snaps, and competed for a national title.
I don't think he was starting this year though, right?
Well,
Mike?
no. So he didn't.
Oh, it was 1,200 total.
Yeah.
Not this season. Okay.
He did not win the job his junior year or his senior year at Notre Dame, but he has been a guy who has filled in when they had injuries.
Okay.
So he hasn't been their guy until they needed him to be their guy.
Okay. So either way,
Depth
what
guy.
I like, and I'm not saying get excited about the player themselves, and like just get excited, like, oh, they're definitely coming here. That's bullshit. Calm down. But seeing guys like this having, their second, like we thought he was only going to have one Big Ten visit, but he's opening up a second to come to Nebraska. Seeing that shows me that serious candidates for these kinds of jobs do think Nebraska is a reasonable landing spot. And I think that's a good sign as to where the program is headed. I don't think it's about like the immediate impact or anything like that, but a lot of these higher end players are at least looking at Nebraska, which shows me that there's some sort of growth.
I disagree, though. I think they leverage Nebraska to get more money from other schools. Like, I think Nebraska is going to raise their price tag, and it's going to raise their interest and their clicks and all that stuff. There's a game they play. Like all these big name guys always visit Nebraska and talk to Nebraska because we drive up the price tag that they get at the other place that they go, where they end up.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the first time that Nebraska has been in the running for a solid transfer or, wow, a 5-star
Quarterback.
this and that. But, dude, Kyle, this goes to your point. I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Playing at Nebraska is just different. There's something about this place. Kent Pavelka, I can't remember which Nebraska ball loss it was because they all just run fucking together at this point. But he had a very interesting quote, and I'm sorry I don't know it verbatim, but he said something to the effect of, there is an intangible that is unprecedented when you play for Nebraska athletics. There's something about this place that the pressure just gets to you. And until you put on that red uniform, dude, I don't care that you had 1,200 snaps at Notre Dame. I don't care. There's something about Nebraska where maybe our expectations are too high. And, we're constantly in the running for these nice prospects, but you know who we end up with? Guys that result in a 6-6 season.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just the bottom line, dude. We're always in the running for these fucking nice transfers and players, but we always end up with 4-8.
We always end up with the corn dogs who were 5-star linebackers at Georgia, and then they don't ever see the field. That's who we end up with.
Do you know what I mean, though? We hype ourselves up, but at the end of the day, what's our record?
The record is
6-6.
Well, 7-6.
How?
Yeah, but also 4-8.
How many times?
Just, you know what I mean? I hate to be like so dismissive, but I don't care.
So
I need to see you in red, bro.
My question to you, when you talk about, we get these players and then we ended up at 4-8 or 6-6 or 5-7 or whatever it is, 3-9.
That happened.
How many times over the last 3, maybe even 4 years, have we said talent doesn't seem to be the issue?
It's not.
So does it really come down to the player? Has it come down to coaching staffs? I mean, we've seen some turnover already in this season. Thank God.
Hey, are we going to get a special teams coach?
Oh, that's actually a fantastic question.
That's a good topic. Is anybody talking about the special team stuff in the chat?
Where's Mike Eckler?
No.
Come on, guys. Where's Mike Eckler?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
But I'm telling you, and I'm calling, this is a wild shot to call, and I called it right before we started the episode. I think we're going to pull someone from the NFL. Don't ask me who, but it just feels like this has been a weirdly long gap.
Does seem like
Well, if you guys remember too, I think it was around, maybe it's like the end of the season. There's a couple weeks where we didn't hear from Matt Rhule, like they didn't have any media availabilities. Or no, it was when Dana Holgorsen was like hired as the offensive coordinator. There was like a couple weeks where there must have been a break or something, and he has his first media availability, and they're like, "Yeah, so what are we doing at the offensive coordinator job or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Dana's here. He's been here.
Yeah.
He's the offensive coordinator
okay.
now." It's like, oh, okay. So is the special teams coordinator? Are they actually like already in house? Are they already working? Are they doing stuff? We just haven't heard. We haven't heard from Matt Rhule in like a month. So I don't. He could very well just already be here and just nobody knows about it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's honestly not a bad take.
It would get out.
You would think, but nobody knew about Dana Holgorsen until Matt Rhule came out and said, "Yeah, no, he's going to be calling plays from here on out." Nobody.
Yeah.
They didn't even know that he was coming back because nobody had heard from Dana Holgorsen since like February when he was in here as like a consultant or an analyst or whatever. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, we brought Dana Holgorsen in, and there was a couple other guys." Nobody even knew about it. It was 2 weeks. Nobody knew that he was in there working with the offense. So I don't know. He could very well be in there already.
I mean, this goes back to, and it feels like, and we already had this conversation years ago with former head coach Scott.
I don't got it.
There it
There
is.
it is.
I feel like good head coaches take pride in the third phase of the game, which is special teams. Yep. And maybe this is an opportunity for Matt Rhule. I know he's a CEO. Some debate if he's a good CEO or whatever, but like maybe this is a good opportunity for him, regardless of who he hires, to really get involved with the special teams. Because beamer ball, stuff like that, I think it'd be nice if we had somebody who actually took it serious, because that third phase has been the issue and the reason that we are only winning 5 games, 6 games a year.
It needs to be the phase of the game where guys take pride in it, and it's not like a leper colony where that's where all the cast-offs are. It's like, even if Matt Rhule doesn't coach the special teams themselves, he needs to be present a lot.
Yes.
Like, players need to see him observing things. Okay? I just feel like special teams is one of those things, unless you're a Brandon Rigoni. Do you remember him?
Yep.
He was like the Sam Hoiberg of special teams.
He was.
You know?
We should get him on the podcast.
Unless you're like a sicko freak like Brandon Rigoni. Special teams is just one of those things where, yeah, but I'm a receiver, so that's like what I care about most.
Right.
You know? Or I'm a linebacker. That's all I really care about. So, like, special teams,
especially
yeah,
at the
I'm
105.
there, but
we're forgetting
you're
a
giving
big
me a
one
stink
here.
face.
We're forgetting DeMornay Pearson-El. Just an absolute fucking dog on special teams.
Sure.
Just
Yeah,
like,
but
I think The issue is not that the coaching staff doesn't care about special teams. It's getting the players to realize that just because you may not be out on that starting offense or starting defense, this is just as important as both of those phases. No phase is more important than the other. Every single one of them is number one priority. And it has to be known across the coaching staff, across the roster. It has to be known that every job that you get, if you get to go touch that field, your job is no less important than anyone else's.
Fucking A.
That's what it has to be done. And I feel like over the last few years, special teams hasn't felt that way, both from the coaching staff and from the roster.
Well, I think now with a 105-man roster, and we'll see if they have a practice squad or whatever, I think it makes things interesting because you aren't going to have 140 guys on there. So you don't have those 40 walk-on kids that grew up just wanting to wear the end their whole lives because those guys won't exist anymore. So you're actually going to recruit guys. Like if I was Matt Rhule and I had 105 roster spots, I would almost recruit guys. Your job is special teams. I'm recruiting you to be a gunner on special teams. I'm recruiting you to run down on kickoffs, and you're going to play every Saturday, and that's your job. Like that, I feel like that's how important you should make it because that's how important the NFL makes it. Like their three deeps are those guys that are literally, that is their job, is to be on special teams. And I feel like you don't have the luxury anymore that Nebraska had with all these walk-ons and this great walk-on program and all the roster, unlimited roster limit, it felt like before. With 105, you have to get more creative. And with a budget like 1890 has and Nebraska has, like you honestly might need to recruit guys and you tell them like, you're going to be special teams. Like you're going to be in the two deep for a linebacker, or you're going to be in the two deep for a receiver, or this or whatever. But like I'm recruiting you to run down on special teams and make tackles or whatever.
And yes, that would take creativity because the knock on that would be, look, you're at 105. Why are you recruiting special teams players?
Well,
right.
So
It's going to look like a waste of a roster spot.
There's room for upward movement. If you're recruiting guys, let's say you're recruiting them to be a gunner. It's like, okay, well, we can also start maybe moving you, like training you as a corner, as a safety. Like there's room to grow. Yeah. But for right now, like this is what we're going to specialize you in. And we're going to see if you can get up and take one of these spots on the actual starting defense. Like they don't have to be a specialized, like they would be specialized special teams, but we can still move you into other roles.
I mean, if you want to say like two deep, and we'll count in like extra two deep and extra positions, but like you're looking at about like 50 guys for offense and defense. Then after that, you've got about 55 other spots to fill. Yeah. Kicker, punter, and then after that, or long snapper, very important. Very, very
don't forget
important.
that.
Yeah, we learned that.
Pay the man, whatever it is. But after that, you really got to look at special teams and making sure you're getting the right guys that can play special teams. Like, yeah, you've got 55 spots, and there's still going to be developmental spots like Kyle wants, but you don't have the luxury that you did in the past. And we sucked in the past with all the roster limit we wanted. Now we have to narrow it down. So maybe it'll make special teams better because we'll have better players. Maybe.
Yeah. Special teams. Look at us talking about special teams in January.
I hope the coordinator that they bring in just is a sicko and just loves it. Like loves special teams.
A sloppy sicko.
I kind of really like the point that Mike just made is that, you're going to have better guys out there because there is no like, oh, I got to protect these guys. Like, I don't want you out there getting injured. We got to put the best guys on the field.
Yep.
Because I've only got 105. I've got to put guys that are going to do the job because I don't have an unlimited amount of guys that can go out there and just, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
We're going to have to put good talent out there. So in a weird way, I think it could be a positive.
I will say, I don't know that the special teams issues for the last 2 years has been talent or who they're putting out there.
No,
I agree.
It's ultimately been
schematics
and coaching.
Yep.
I truly believe that.
I do not disagree at all.
I don't think you're wrong.
This is why we were calling for Ed Foley's head because I'm sorry. Even an easy example, when you set up plays to kick things to the right side and you miss and kick it to the left and everybody's moving to the right side, that's an issue. Like when you're muffing punts, when you're just like so many things, the snap is the simplest thing in the world. So we thought, and you're coaching guys down the sideline at halftime. Like, remember that picture that I took?
Yeah.
Your gunners are running out the back of the end zone. You're getting blocked punts. You're getting blocked field goals. I mean, you just keep walking down the list. Literally everything bad every bad thing that can happen on special teams last year did happen.
We saw
You can
it.
literally go through a checklist.
Yep.
Blocked field goals, blocked field goal for a return, blocked punt, return punt. Like literally every bad thing that can happen in a football game on special teams happened in Nebraska last year.
We should have started playing special teams bingo.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's do that next year.
Yep.
Here's the thing. If your team is stupid and undisciplined, it's going to show in special teams probably more than any other phase.
Well, not stupid, but like not taught.
Yeah.
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 Uneducated,
That-
maybe.
Stupid.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I
if
agree, because
you lack discipline, it's going to show up in special teams.
because special teams, realistically, you get one play at a time. One. If you fuck up in that one play, of course all of the eyes are on you.
Yeah.
And
Of course they are.
And the ratio in which you get those one plays are
Yeah.
not as much as what you get on offense and defense. So when the ratio is really bad, where bad shit is happening way too often on something that doesn't happen as much, it's bad. It's all bad.
Makes you fire your best friend.
Yeah.
All I gotta say.
Okay, now talking about who they might hire, I think it's irrelevant who they hire. I don't care if it's Mike Eckler or that sloppy sicko from James Madison.
What if they hired Kyle Byers?
Shit.
I'll do it.
Even if it's the
BA
GOAT.
said he'd do it for free. Just saying.
The bottom line, Mike, you're going to agree with me here.
Of course I will.
Matt Rhule needs to be present
Yes.
in those meetings, in those drills. It can't just be, hey, Ed, here you go. Hey, Coach Foley, you just got back from you were just at Big Joe's Diner in Valentine. Here's your guys. Here you go. Nope. Matt, you got to be in there with them to send a message to everybody that this shit is important.
And something that scares me about that narrative is that you'd have to imagine at some point through last season, Matt Rhule did walk into those meetings and did start analyzing and
And
start
it
looking
didn't
at
change.
everything, and it didn't get better.
That's the part
is
that
scares me.
scares me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, let's say he did, or he did, whatever. I don't care. Matt Rhule should be in every meeting that he can be. He should be. You're the CEO. You want this thing, you want this company to succeed, you want this football team to succeed, whatever you want to call it. I'm not asking him to take charge, but he should be there.
Yeah.
And he should be observing and just understanding what is going on in every phase of the game. I think that's fair. I don't think that's an unreasonable ask.
I think he is.
Here are the 4 things of a Matt Rhule coach team that I expect. Okay. Offense, not his thing, might be bad unless you bring in a really good OC, right? But so offense is not his focus. Leave it to Dana. Okay. Defense has a lot of background in defense.
He'll have a lot of input with that.
The defense will almost assuredly be your strength.
Yeah. And
Pretty much every year.
he has said as much. We are always going to have a good defense.
Like, you know that Matt Rhule coach teams are going to have pretty good defenses unless you're playing in Bloomington, Indiana. The third thing is special teams is probably not going to be great, regardless of who the coach is. It's just been in his history. It's just statistics, metrics. His special teams have always just been like
Mid.
70th.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it'll be like 70th. And the fourth thing is fucked up game management.
Yep.
These are the 4 things that I expect from Matt Rhule. Now, can we turn that 70th ranked special teams to 47th? And maybe we can
Were we
can
70th
win
this
one
year?
extra game. Maybe
There's no way we're 70 this year. There's no way.
No,
Hey,
we were deep.
that's why I said 70 at best.
Yeah. I didn't know. We were way lower than that.
But so my question,
Times 2, 70 times 2.
There you go.
if Matt Rhule has a history of this horrible special teams performance, do you want him in those meetings? Just pay the right guy and fuck off.
I mean, here's the
Like,
thing.
honestly.
I don't know what companies you work for, but I have never, and I work at a big company, I have never had my CEO in any of my meetings. Maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
company is a little bit larger than the Husker football staff.
Yeah, I mean, your company has 20 different departments
Right.
plus.
Right, but
Yeah.
let's use that model, right?
Yeah.
If you're a CEO, you let the people underneath you manage and work and do their thing. And that's what Matt Rhule is. He's going to let the coaches coach. He's not going to be in all those meetings. Is there meetings he's going to attend where they're going to figure out game plan and stuff for the games?
Yeah.
Absolutely. maybe in the offseason, maybe they get together and they kind of make a plan for the upcoming year. Absolutely. But when they're doing all their actual coaching and stuff, that's not it. He's not there. I'm just telling you, he's the CEO. He's not there.
I think when you look at a program like Husker football, Jared, you're a teacher.
Indeed.
Do you have meetings with your principal?
Yes.
Yeah. Kyle.
But do you have meetings with the board of Papillion La Vista schools?
No, but the principal is the CEO for his school. Yeah.
I would say the principal is the manager
You know what?
of the school.
I would say the principal is the CEO of the school.
Hey, if you want to get really technical, if you're going to go down this path, the superintendent would be our CEO.
And
yeah, but
do you
that's
have any
managing
meetings with that?
multiple schools.
What's that?
That's managing multiple schools. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So for your program,
Okay.
your school, your principal is your CEO.
The principal that I meet with is like an assistant coach, though.
Okay. Well, Kyle,
You're going down a rabbit hole here.
Kyle, do you meet with what you would consider?
the way he wants it to.
Kyle,
It might.
Do
Kyle.
you meet with what you would consider to be your head coach on a somewhat regular basis?
I would say no.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, this really did backfire.
I'm
on
telling
me.
you, it's not going to hit the way you want it to. You work at a family-owned restaurant, so it's or brewery. It's a little different.
I guess
In corporate America, CEOs they meet with their peers who meet with their peers who meet with their peers.
The CEO isn't meet with the peasants like Mike.
No,
I don't know that I would
Although he's
consider
very
either
nice.
of their jobs to be like corporate. You're a corporate.
Oh, I'm very, very corporate, but
He's soulless.
Yeah.
I just imagine, and football is a little different. I agree with you, Connor, where like he's going to be involved, but I think his style is CEO, hands off, let the coaches coach.
Yeah.
And I think defense, he likes his hands in that a little bit, but that's why he also brought in Phil Snow, who can echo his message. He brought in Phil Snow to be the assistant head coach. He's not a coordinator. He's just the assistant head coach.
Why is Phil Snow, a former defensive coordinator, his right-hand man? Because defense is his thing.
Yes.
He likes defense.
So that,
He doesn't like offense. He doesn't like special teams.
yeah, that's just that's my opinion. I have no idea. I'm not in those meetings. Maybe Matt Rhule's in every freaking meeting. I doubt it.
Right.
Yeah, this is pure speculation.
Yeah.
Crazy from NBNR.
Yeah.
It's speculation.
I just think he has to make a good hire with special teams, and I agree with you, Jared. Regardless of who he hires, he needs to be more involved with that, maybe as much as he is with defense. Offense, he's not going to be involved with that. That's not his thing.
No.
Matt, get Dana Holgerson. Matt, get out. Matt, go to the special teams room. I got this. Get the fuck out of here. Okay?
That's a great way to end the show.
Yeah. And in this episode, we learned that Mike deals in blood money. It's just a corporate.
Yeah.
Just a bad man.
Shill. He's a shill.
I got the slick back hair, and I wear a suit and tie every day.
Can you slick your hair back?
Absolutely not.
It's already really short.
Nope. No, I don't have to go in the office. I'm doing that. COVID, So
Mike's
for
just
you.
a good company man.
Yep.
Yeah.
About to hit 10 years at my company. So
Hey,
Hey,
congratulations.
thanks.
Are they gonna give you a watch? What are they gonna give you?
I get something. I don't know what it is. I know more vacation for sure, which
Fleshlight?
God knows I needed that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Is there anything,
wild flex over here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Okay. Quick fire thoughts of Dylan Rhule in the locker room. Did you like it? Did you not care? Are you indifferent? Go.
He ain't beating the allegations, man. I'm sorry. I don't think I've just kind of ignored the whole he wants to be Mahomes thing. First of all, if you're trying to be somebody in the NFL right now, it's a pretty good guy to want to be.
He looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
It's not Dylan's fault. He looks pretty much exactly like Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, it's his fault that he has the same hair and the same
Yeah.
shitty goatee.
I just thought I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a little weird, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Okay.
I think I might have rolled my eyes a little, and that's because I knew the type of reception it would get.
Yes.
In addition to, I'm kind of over it too. All right, and I know he works out with his quarterback coach, but I get it. But it's just
I do want
we're
to
doing
point
this
out,
still.
My only thing, I guess, that is relevant about this is that Dylan Raiola has played 1 year at Nebraska, and he has already won more bowl games than Patrick Mahomes did. So,
Boom.
Boom.
Next
There we
go. Kyle.
Patrick wishes.
I had the exact same reaction. I was like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, boy.
It makes sense. Like, it makes sense why he was there.
Right.
Our defensive line coach is still coaching at Kansas City.
Well, and
Dawson Merritt, his
Yeah.
dad, like,
Jared
yeah,
Braden.
Dawson basically just brought Dylan along and just like let him join in on the fun.
Right.
And I will say this though, today at the office, somebody had posted some sort of like graphic, and it was supposed to be Patrick Mahomes, and it said like, Patrick, beats Josh Allen again or whatever, and it was like two of them, and they were all laughing about it. And I looked at it, and I'm like, "What? I don't get it. Like, what are you showing me here?"
it's Patrick.
And they
Mahomes.
looked at it and they go,
Dylan.
"Well, it's Dylan's face." And I was like, "Oh, I had no clue. I just a quick look at it. I had no idea what they did because they look so similar." So
That's-
yeah,
Well, and in that video, like I kind of just scrolled past it. I did not listen to it,
I listened to it.
but like, were the Chiefs players like joking around?
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
And so that's
yeah.
part of it
Yeah.
too. It's like, well, are they like really joking, or are they like kind of making fun of him too?
I think
Right.
they're they're
You know
just
what I mean?
playing into it. And I think Dylan's a good sport about it.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. The kid's 19 years old. One, if I was 19 and I got to go into a NFL locker room after they won an AFC championship game, that'd be cool as fuck.
oh, I'd be in there. I got my
Right.
goggles on.
Right.
I got.
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Right. So the fact that they've let him do that, now he has special perks because Dawson Merritt is his teammate. He and Dawson are close, and Dawson's dad's on the staff. It's not even a Braden thing. Now Braden is cool with it, but like it's not even a Mahomes thing. Like Mahomes doesn't let him in the locker room. It just happened to be because Merritt's dad's on the staff. So if you were offered the opportunity, I don't give a shit if you're an Iowa fan, a Kansas fan, whatever. If you were offered the opportunity after the Chiefs won the AFC championship to go sit there and chill and party with them after they won, you would do it too.
I'm a Colts fan and a self-proclaimed Chiefs hater.
Yeah.
If I got the offer to go in that locker room after an AFC championship, yes.
Yes.
It's not even a hesitation. I would be like pulling out my wallet, like, how much does it cost?
right.
I would be in that locker. Like, that is a once in a lifetime experience. Maybe not for Dylan Raiola, but that is an insane experience. I don't think it's that weird for
No.
him to have
No.
said yes to going in there.
Exactly. I mean, like he and Dawson were at the game together. They watched the game together, and then they went into the locker room afterwards too. So like, it is what it is. It's a 19-year-old having fun. He knows what he's doing. Like,
Here's what I want. This time next year, I hope we are sitting here. I hope everybody on Twitter, wherever, I hope we are sitting here going, Dylan became his own man instead of
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes cosplayer.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I hope we're sitting here going, he shed the Mahomes skin, so to speak, and he became his own man. I hope that's
Like
what we're saying.
created his own brand.
That's right.
Can I go one step further? I would like to next year.
Oh God, what?
Maybe not at this time. I'm not expecting a natty or anything, but I would like to be able to say Patrick Mahomes was in Dylan Raiola's locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
There you go.
A meaningful
Could
game,
happen.
a meaningful win in the postseason.
well, guess what? You had to say that because Patrick Mahomes will be playing I guess Dylan will be playing in Patrick's locker room, and Patrick Mahomes will probably be there.
Well,
So-
yeah,
And they'll be playing with each other.
I'm talking meaningful postseason.
Okay,
win.
not the first game of the year because
Yeah,
that's gonna
not
happen.
the first game of the year. But yeah, I would like to see a day where I could say Patrick Mahomes was in Dylan's locker room.
Yeah, it all comes full circle.
Yeah, I just wanted to be good. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Because if he's not good,
The team sucks.
We're not good.
The team will suck if Dylan's not good.
we,
So,
we could talk in circles about this guy needs to play better. This guy needs to blah, 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 blah. But if Dylan's the same as last year, talking pinstripe times 2.
Yep.
Back-to-back pinstripe bowl appearances. Okay. Anything else?
No,
I don't think
No.
so.
NBNRpodcast.com. Follow us. Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
TikTok
TikTok.
for now.
It's back
It's back.
for
Thank
at least another 60 days.
Thank you, my savior, for bringing it back. I bow to you, my lord. Fuck, I have to keep posting there. Shit.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Damn.
work.
Okay. I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Connor Cadillac.
Kyle Byers.
As always, beat Illinois
Please.
at home.
Please.
It's a must win
They're all must wins.
in GBR.